Echo, their lineup has the potential to go for the kill. So,
where is my walnut? Well, what's happening here? SynQ and ATF have some kind of deal going on with nuts, apparently.
I wish I knew. With Amar, you never know.
You know, I appreciate the fact that he does enjoy some walnuts. I enjoy a good walnut myself, Jonathan. I'm not sure what SynQ has to do with all of it. SynQ maybe just doing a bit of a side hustle on the side here at this ESL One tournament. So we are going to have a pause. Maureen really wants to know the answer. Where are these walnuts, SynQ?
He's hidden them away. You know, storing for winter time. Storing it for winter. Not even the season, it's for winter. Winter wants some walnuts.
All right. I don't know what to do with that. Thank you, John. We'll have a quick gander around the map. Some nice, very nice grass here, Jonathan, on the Radiant side of things. So
does this count as touching grass?
No.
Unfortunate.
As close as we're going to get. Let's be frank. Here we go. Game is back underway. See if we get into an early team fight. But talking about the drafts, I mean, I know you kind of... We're hoping for a Game 3, aren't we, Jonathan? Without any bias being involved here between Falcons and of course, Azure Ray. You and I want to see a Game 3. This is the upper bracket round of 1.
Yeah. You want to see it go the distance. We've been filled with nothing but best of 2s. In the group stage, this is supposed to be a best of 3.
Okay.
We'll see if the Falcons can reel it back in and force us into that Game 3. As they're posturing around.
I think you're going to see a few heroes. Of course, the Chen going to force the Inch to just get the hell out of there, and it seems like it is going to be a 2-for-2 trade in the boundary runes anyway. So a nice even start once again. We will have a look. It appears down at the bot lane. Of course, Crit's going to be there with ATF once again against Qianming. And of course, our POS 1 Luna. What do you think about that bot lane, Jonathan?
I like the lane for the side of Falcons in that they can stay fairly far back, just get some free harassment off, keep playing around with Tidebringer. It's a little bit trickier for Qianming to try to play this one. He doesn't have something like a Windlace or the boots, so he's not going to be able to try to chase down Crit with his high move speed. And Crit's just always going to be able to get the concussive off and get some free right clicks, although does manage to gap close onto Amar, but they're splitting their damage up. Lowe's also focusing on Crit. As long as they spread that damage out, prevent themselves from being trapped up here, Falcons will have somewhere to play. And I guess the big threat here is like Qianming hitting level 3 with level 2 battery assault. Even then, Luna doesn't necessarily want to chase down fully. She kind of just wants to hit creeps.
Oh, trust me when I tell you, John, you don't need the Luna against the Skywrath Mage or an Earthshaker. It does not matter. Just or rather a Skywrath Mage or a Chen, you just kind of run at them. Level 3 Clockwork has the greatest time of his life. I can't wait to see. We'll see if Qianming can find some openings. Of course, mid lane XM and Maureen going at it as well as the Earthshaker versus Pango matchup generally does favor the Earthshaker. You know, any kind of melee matchup here for the Shaker in the mid lane is usually just going to favor him. So yeah. XM probably got a bit of work on his hands.
He's going to have to try to just soak as much EXP as possible. Don't provide all these deny opportunities to Maureen. I think that's what has to come out for the control here on XM. But Maureen's just playing the deny game down bot.
ATF going to get caught out already. Low and Qianming able to secure the kill. That was only the level 2 power spike for the Clockwork as well. So not really too much happening there. Just ATF not expecting the rotation to come in. And obviously it does pay off quite effectively here for Azure Ray.
Now you still have to respect that. It's the classic range plus Clockwork lane. There is some good damage coming out. With the Luna around, just a little bit more damage with the Lunar Blessing as well. And the right-click harass does speed up that process. And it sets a good tone. You are getting some fairly uncontested farm here for Low. It's a slower time for Amar, and we've seen this from the side of Falcons. If Amar's not ready to play, I mean, it's typical of Amar, but he'll sit back and farm. The Kunkka kind of needs to connect with everyone else as we approach like 8 to 10 minutes. You know, there needs to be at least one piece of activity coming out from Amar, so hopefully this doesn't throw him off too much from that pacing if that lane goes rough.
Absolutely not. And of course, that final lane was top lane where SynQ and XXS are going to be up against Skidder and, of course, Snaking. I do love seeing me a Chen versus Ench matchup. You know, it's been a while. Bottom lane, Qianming maybe getting a little bit too excited here on the Clockwork. Does cop a fair bit of damage on his way out. But he is going to be able to get out. And, in fact, he gets the Lotus as well. So a very nice cogs there. Just block the pathing, not allow them the chance to steal.
Yeah. Allows him to just stay in that lane as well. Just kind of look for an angle, hold on to the Lotus. And just provide this cover for low. You're not able to really rotate on crit. The wave is shoving in, but it's hard for the Sky to try to walk into the gate in this scenario. So you're just stuck here trying to play. Amar, and they can try to start to apply even more harass once Tidebringer's at level 2, but it's going to take a while for that. The top lane's interesting here in comparison, where I think this is much more clear-cut for XXS as win. It's a Tide versus Spectre lane. XXS is just getting all the farm. He's not getting harassed out by Snaking. Snaking's forced to camp in this lane. Again, Snaking is going to try to take the gate now, though. This has to line up for success. This was missing in game 1.
It was. Down towards the bottom lane, the Chen does go. Low's going to be very cautious. He's got the double creeps going on here. Snaking going to show himself underneath the T1 tower for a second. Chanming's already running, trying to go after crit. Silence is out onto Low, and now Low going to find himself in danger, still trying to fight against ATF, but it is not going to really pan out. Is ATF able to clean up, and Snaking, even though he did run underneath that T1 for a moment, they never retreat. Azure, they just kept moving forward.
Yeah, it looked like they had their blinders on, really wanting to get that pick off onto crit. Then escaping through the river. Took them a little bit too long. The silence comes in right before the Lucent Beam as well, providing that space out. And Snaking is getting that activity he wants. I mean, this is still a tough lane for Skitter, but a 1v1 up against a Tide, you're not going to die. So you can afford to just leave that lane alone, get that activity elsewhere. And the side of Azure, well, they've dragged down Sin Q as well, but they're not going to be able to really turn and do much. Probably best to just cover this gate with a ward. I think that's the ideal. Or just keep track of the Chen. When it disappears from lane, you know something's going to be up. For now, Snaking playing around in the triangle, getting that build up. We've seen him prioritize his own farm for the fast mech or that fast solar crest in this game. He is on point to kind of scale into that.
Skitter, that is a lot of damage being dealt his way, and Skitter is just down. Sin Q able to secure that one. Meanwhile, bottom lane, X is out. They've got Low locked down for a moment as Snaking and Crit are going to move their way in, just making the nick of time as Low trying to back his way out, but it is not looking good. ATF does secure another. It's Chanming. He will at least be able to run for now, though ATF really wanting to go for the chase. Doesn't seem to have the X quite yet. Still waiting as Chanming gets another good cogs off. Snaking! Oh, Snaking! He'll very fire up. He's all right.
Barely stays alive there. Really nice hold from Chanming. Holds on to the lane, forces that dance around, drains some mana with the cogs, and buys enough time to just sit there, allow the creep wave to clump up for Low to farm. The one thing I'd say that Azure hasn't been able to do as much of, and this is down to Sin Q having to be active, is stacks for the Luna. You don't have that much built up here in the triangle, so considering the lane for Low has slowed down a bit, he doesn't have access to that flash farm, but you will get activity from XXS. This top lane has just disappeared for Skitter. Is down mid.
Malrain's getting completely pincered in here from the side. Sin Q is out with the tomato creep, and now XM landing the Rolling Thunder, though Malrain still somehow alive. Does juke out the Rolling Thunder for now, but does eventually get caught out. As Snaking trying to trade by taking down Sin Q, but Sin Q is able to survive himself and walk out of this. So a great kill is now Chanming. Seeing Snaking is still sticking around, does jump in for the cogs out, and no, hands are up. The wave Snaking goodbye, as it'll be a 2-for-1 special apparently here on the side of Falcon.
2-for-1 special.
Maybe a 3-for-1 if Skitter's not too careful.
I mean, this top lane's really an issue for the side of Falcons. They get shoved in with the early Meteor Hammer coming out from XXS. There's no way you can just flash farm safely here for Skitter. You're forced to respond elsewhere on the map with the aggression coming out from Azure. And the fact that Spectre Chen isn't really lined up to play together. Like, that lane is very passive, so Snaking wants to get activity elsewhere. They're not finding enough in exchange.
Chanming. It's a bit of an aggressive play here from Chanming. Not really sure what the objective was, but we'll get caught out. Skitter even moving in to claim a very easy kill for himself on the Spectre. Chanming maybe just getting a little bit overly excited there, and the clockwork does pay for it with his life. Malrain, mid lane. XM going to be a little bit cautious, but Malrain not really seeing the angle to get within range here and pop the echo.
Yeah, just a little bit tougher to try to play aggressive. He does manage to secure himself the haste rune. They are still grouped around mid. One good team fight in an area with the army Snaking has. They can transition into an objective quite fast, but Let's see if that presents itself, Sin-Q.
That does get the nice little snare off there. He'll be able to back off. I think the real big concern right now, as you're seeing, is XXS is just clearly and easily pushing out this tier 2 top tower with the meteor hammer out, and he's top of the net worth board right now. There's just no answer to this. He's just able to stay at the top lane, keep pushing it in. Skidder is trying to respond the best he can, but unless you bring in more bodies, there's just nothing you can do about this. I'm
a little bit surprised Falcons just haven't gone for a clump up down bot and just kind of drag Spectre and stay there. They'll try into XXS now.
Echo Slam is out. XXS though, he has the Kraken and the Ravage into the Meteor Hammer. Oh. Skinner, he'll take a fair bit of damage on the way out, but it will still survive now as XXS does go down. It cost them 4 heroes. In fact, it's not over yet. Skinner still being chased by the Wild Wing Ripper, but he's alright. Meanwhile, they do also find Sin-Q, so they do find the punish. Rather than pushing out the bot lane, they decide, screw it, we are going to get the numbers, and we will take care of XXS.
That's a big kill. #1 net worth right now on that Tide, left alone for such a long time, and provides a little bit of room for Skidder to catch up. You're still getting a lot off the back of that for Azure. Like, this Luna is completely uncontested, so you sacrifice some of that on your Tide, but your Luna's still way ahead of your Spectre here in this game. The Manta timing's not going to be too far off. Their own push on the side of Azure just skyrockets once that's up. And the Chen army, in a prolonged situation, you're going to have to manage that here.
Nice, easy kill onto crit. And this is kind of the thing as the Skywrath Mage, you hate to play against clock. Qian Ming's going to have a great time every time he sees crit. Problem is, it may cost his own life, but he actually jukes him up very nicely. Ooh. ATF can't find him in the tree line, and now ATF, in a very awkward scenario, just trapped between a rock and a hard place.
Just
pushing him around. ATF just cannot get away. He'll go for the man fight. In fact, it may work out. It may work out. Low is down. ATF gets an invis run. He's still running.
What?
Oh, ATF. He's made it. ATF has made it out of the situation. Sin-Q the one to go down. I can't believe it.
He got ping-ponged around.
What?
On that area by the ramp.
How?
He just gets access to the invis rune. He's perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah, they were making him walk the plank, John. He just abandoned ship. He just jumped out.
Yeah,
just swam away.
Gets to bail out. Not enough output, and they risk a lot by bringing Low in for that one. Perhaps hoping that after that fight, they could try to transition into the mid-tier 1 shove as well with their Luna. Although,
oh, here we go again. Qian Ming.
Oh, no.
Well, Mystic Flare is out, but it won't matter. Qian Ming secures another. I laugh, Jonathan, because this is what I really enjoy doing to these Skywrath Mage players. Is here we go. Let's see what happened to ATF. I'd love to see how low in HP he got, because he was ticking down to an urn. The Invis rune did just spawn up. Low sees it, but he's too busy trying to get the kill onto ATF. ATF, how low do we get? It's dropping. It's dropping. There's an urn charge. Low goes, ATF. There's your urn out. The battery assault doesn't land another time, and ATF, he almost turned around for the hit. He almost went for it. Rocket Flare connects as well. 2 HP, 1 HP. Oh my goodness. That was I saw the number 2.
Yeah, it's just not enough. He got the boat off, and again, this is going to be compounded once you can kind of reach into these team fights, get the rum buff along with Hand of God. The burst damage play isn't that straightforward here for the side of Azure. You're going to be forced into a longer fight with all of the sustain available on Falcons. A big clump up on mid. Ravage ready.
Echo Slam committed, or XM rather, is going to go down, but a hook shot. Qian Ming finding 2 of the cogs. Here comes the boat to help out, though Qian Ming is down to boot. 2 gone for the side of AR. XXS still trying to force this one, but it doesn't look too great for them as ATF will chase down Sin-Q once again on the Enchantress, and Sin-Q, he will go down. As AR, they have no way to respond to the aggression of Falcons. Falcons once again finding another successful team fight.
It almost feels like right now Azure can't go into ATF. As long as ATF is in the fight, as long as the threat of the boat and the rum buff is around, you're not doing damage on the side of Azure. Not until Low is ready to go. And the last time Low felt like he was ready to go, he wasn't. He sacrificed a lot. This is the power spike we were looking for from Falcons. They've got a lot they can do with Shadow Step. They've got their level 6 spikes up with crit. They've got the slam with the blink already on Malrine. Anytime they see someone on Azure trying to get cheeky, they can just jump right in. No worries here.
They certainly can. Success. Still trying to be very cheeky with the media hammer, but does eventually just leave the area. 6 to 10, 1k advantage for Falcons. Low, top of the net worth board on the Luna, but not by a long stretch. ATF right behind him on the Kunkka at the moment as XM is being chased now by Maureen. Skidder going to jump in, keep the vision up, and it seems as though XM is between a rock and a hard place, will go down. Skidder to pick up another kill for himself.
He's been so effective with the Orchid up and running on the spec. He had a rough time up top, but the timing for this Orchid still comes out pretty alright. Again, he lost his tier 1 really early. His 1v1 versus Tide didn't lead to too much farm. But all of this activity now paying dividends. With that Orchid, every time you have a Shadow Step, you can basically hunt down these supports. There's just nothing to stop you. You've got the damage, you've got the mobility with these cores, or at least with your cores and your supports here on the side of Falcons. It's almost a flip from the last game. It's a Azure that has to sit back and farm, wait for low, wait for at least this defusal to come in from XM. Falcons, they're not going to be waiting around though.
I don't think they need to. No, just keep going, keep the aggression up. To be fair, it is only Snaking and Maureen right now smoked up, but perhaps that's all you need with the Echo available. They'll head down towards the bottom side. Tianming is the target they could go for, and it seems like they will. Not a huge target, but it's going to be another kill to go the way of Skidder. You'll take that every single time. It's now XXS, going to be targeted. Mid lane, Maureen jumping in. They'll drop the Mystic Flare, they'll drop the Echo. And while XXS, he got the mid tier 1 tower, but it seems as though Falcons, they'll not only find his life, but they'll be able to trade towers.
Yeah, we'll be able to just push in with the army available on Snaking. They've also got Amar clearing down bot by himself after that little haunt play. And this is that tempo we were looking from Falcons. They're playing up to speed with their draft. They're just not stopping, looking for more still.
Q looking rather cute here in the jungle. That is to Maureen at least. Maureen just gives him a nice slap. Q suddenly gone. Low. I mean, lines have been drawn exactly where Low is. They seem to be able to guess that the Luna is farming in this position. Nobody's quite made their way up to that area yet, but they are slowly going. More lines being drawn out as well, but Low still able to TP away. Nobody really checks, sadly.
Yeah, it's fine. You're still kind of forcing this Luna to dance around the map a little bit, and you're forcing Azure to take a much more conservative position, not crossing the river. You've got no real vision forward here from the side of Azure, just one defensive ward on the bot jungle just to secure some farm. Falcons have some good aggressive wards watching that bot area and just watching this entrance where the Luna has been dipping into. Again, they just set up to play around his style. Manta up on low is nice, allows the farming pace to go up more, allows you to not be too scared of the silences on hand from the side of Falcons. But Falcons with the army, well, they're going to run into Roche, but AR have an idea here.
Yeah. Some TPs. Here comes AR though. They'll see ATF on the Kunkka, but he gets the boat out, which is going to mean he's quite tanky. XXS trying to jump in for a gush, but they can't really lock him down. Meanwhile, Tianming, he does see a Skywrath, so he'll make the jump in with the hook shot. Crit does get caught. It's not the biggest deal in the world. You allow the Kunkka to get away from this scenario. Problem is, Azure, they're still going to try and capitalize by going after Roshan. You know the boat's down. It's still a 4v5. But Falcons, they do not want to allow this to happen. And with the smoke, they're going to try and force an awkward fight.
They've got the angle. They've got the slam just back up on Maureen. They could just jump in, but they're playing it conservatively. Roshan is falling fairly fast, though.
It certainly is, and it seems like they decided better of it. The Roshan's still happening. Scan is out, we'll find nothing. And eventually Falcons, to be fair to them, John, they would be fighting into a Ravage, Rolling Thunder, and an Eclipse. It would have been a pretty awkward fight in the Roshan pit.
Yeah, it would be awkward at best. And that can go sideways rather quickly for Falcons.
Q. See you later, mate. Oh, Skinner. No problem.
Just gone, just like that. You've got some pretty big ag timings coming out here for Falcons. Amar has his flying out now. Water Park opens up. None of the cores on Azure have spell immunity just yet. So the crowd control suddenly kicks in for the side of Falcons. Like, it's basically like you have Ravage just constantly going off.
Oh, off the mark that time, was attempted onto Snaking. A little bit short.
But it's going to be scary for Azure to go into these team fights. Just having Slam, having to worry about the boat, having to worry about the Torrent Storm on top of everything else. The lack of burst right now on the side of Azure, with all of this crowd control coming in from Falcons.
He got hit by the rocket play. They know he's around here somewhere in XXS. It's going to chase him down. Crit will go down once again. And AR, I mean, they might just transition through the twin gates, and they will. Down towards the bottom side of the map. They want someone bigger, a bigger target. ATF is around that area, though he did just pick up his Aghanim Scepter.
It's him by himself. Torrent Storm, not as scary when it's solo, but does get a good read. They still have that vision down bot from Falcons, not been dewarded by the side of Azure. That allows him to get back into safety. This prolonged game, ooh.
Yeah, every single time you see this hero, you go for the kill. Every time. Skidder with another. In fact, Maureen took, but now Maureen's in trouble. XM with the Rolling Thunder in a very good angle, can lock him down for quite a while. In fact, the hook shot gonna fly out to boot. Maureen just cannot do anything. He will be left behind. And that'll be a very effective trade here for Azure.
Yeah, that's a massive trade in favor of Azure, picking up that kill on Maureen, the streak going out to low as well, allowing this Luna to reach itemization much faster. BKB being queued up here for low. It's much safer. Needs that spell immunity up against the potential threat of the Ags of Amar. Heck, even just dodging out the X, dodging out the boat, and just dodging out the combination from the Skyrat Mage is massive here in terms of finding some durability. So some tools are being built up by Azure. The side of the Falcons, and once they get the shard onto Amar as well after this Ags, you have so many ways of pulling people back. Heck, the effectiveness of the Chen army, all the uses of the Wild Wing Ripper, you can easily just drag someone from across the map, it feels like. You position yourself right here.
Absolutely. Snaking, he'll get a free shards for himself now with the Tormentor. Falcons will do the same. Q will take the shards for himself. Ooh. And Crit, of course, going to be spotted here on the Skyrat, though he is doing a lot of damage to XM, but it won't matter. Crit will go down again.
It's just, he's getting info out. He's trying to just ensure that they get this forward vision down as well. So he does manage to get this ward right on the left side jungle. Should allow them to try to play with that information, try to see if it's safe to get that shove top, if they were gunning for that at some point. This stalled out timing is starting to play fairly nicely for Azure. Like, you have escalated quite a fair bit on low. You've sacrificed some of XXS's farm, some of XM's farm, but this is kind of the Luna show anyway. Like, she's going to hit into the Crystallis, perhaps the Silver Edge of this game, get the shard, disassembly on Mask of Madness, the Satanic, and then all of a sudden the Luna is the one that's ultra durable. That damage reflection or damage reduction on the shard, 25%, 75% of her attack damage coming out. You've got a Spectre, a Kunkka, a Shaker to try to jump the Luna. Like, it's a long ways off, but it can become an issue.
Yeah, and Low just casually walks in, takes the T2 tower right in front of Skidder. Sadly for Skidder, he did not have his teammates around to try and punish Low for that. Lines being drawn down as well here from Low. He wants to head down towards the south of the map and try to find himself a team fight. Falcons, though, they are prepped. Maureen's got an Ags up now to boot. Low, he'll cop the rod of Atos, but Crit! Oh, he misses the Mystic Flare! I mean, look, we've all done it, to be fair, John, but a little bit awkward with that initiation.
Yeah, it's a little bit tight of a window, especially with that Manta style up. I don't think even if it connected, it would have been completely
It wouldn't have been
clean.
a kill.
You also miss out on a little bit of a hook shot on Chan Ming, so no one wants to push the envelope further. Falcons, though, still looking to run down. I mean, XXS is all by his lonesome here.
Yeah, they've got Maureen moving in along with Skidder to boot, and well, XXS, he's a tanky guy, and he's got the Ravage out onto 3 targets, and here comes the cavalry. Low, he'll come in from the back, the Eclipse pop, now the Rolling Thunder, XM locking them all down. He'll at least lose blood. Maureen is now ATF, still just trapped in the cox here with Tian Ming, though surviving, trying to man fight. XM, he'll be the first to go down. ATF will slowly follow, and now Low. Low's the big boy. Low's the one they really want, but can they finish the job? Low is still going, but there you go, Skidder. He'll finish the job eventually, because it seems as though AR, oh, Tian Ming threads the needle. Not the way you'd like, though, as Skidder Skidder is going to be able to walk away. And Falcons, they'll be happy with that. A 2-for-3 exchange. You got the carry Luna. You get Skidder out of there. It's probably the best kind of scenario you could have asked for right now for Falcons.
That's a huge win for the Falcons coming out there. They force all of these responses out onto XXS. We see the effect of how much durability they're getting out with Hand of God and with the Boat Rum buff. The Torrent Storm as well, you only had the BKB up and running on low, so everyone else is kind of held back just a little bit more. And they can just pick apart this fight, you know, just dance around. It looked decent for AR in terms of coming in with a counter fight, but it's just too fragmented. And the Spectre is a bit of an issue. You're not, that durability we were talking about on low, he's not at that point yet. This is the moment for Falcons to force these movements out. And now they've got room for themselves.
Oh, just... I've done that a few times myself, John. You know me.
Yeah.
I love me a clockwork, but these things do happen. He was like a pixel.
It happens. I think it just doubly hurts for Chan Ming. That's, I believe, twice in a row. It just hasn't connected, so... It'll come together. You know, you miss twice in a row, surely the third one will hit.
Now look on the bright side. At least he's not in a pub where your teammates are going to start pinging every time you miss.
That's true. His teammates could still ping him.
That is true.
Even though it's not a pub.
I wouldn't recommend it. Sing cute. Doing okay, just farming himself. Mid lane, Falcon's going to address the creep wave. Do we go for a bit of a smoke here, Falcons? And for now, just going to remain grouped up. So not really rushing in for a big fight. There is safety in numbers, of course, and well, this game too, kind of reminiscent of Game 1, right? Like it's feeling like a very, very close game between these two teams.
It very much is. Like for Falcons, they've been using this aggression really nicely, but at the same time, the aggression hasn't lined up for objectives. Roshan's still down. They haven't been able to line up for even the tier 1 up top. These fights have been taking place down bot. Falcons don't have the forward vision. Azure, they're not ready to fully commit onto these fights by themselves. They've been finding some decent pickoffs and some decent trades, but the win conditions to outright win these fights aren't quite there. They're having to sit back and farm. You've got the full basher up on Skidder, so it's just easier to go for the chase now. The Spectre, they've been playing around the Shadow Step really nicely, playing pretty much an Assassin Spectre style that you tend to see nowadays to nearly its full effect. The next flashpoint's this Roshan. It's a quick respawn coming out here, Mike. It's a nighttime spawn. And they have the vision coming in here from Azure with a nice Harpy Scout camping it.
Going to be a big objective. 26 minutes in, Roshan now officially up. Immediate pings towards the Roshan pit. AR, they're going to have the first kind of dibs here on the Roshan. And Falcons, they're going to need to be the ones to try and scout this out, get this information, and maybe try to force a fight. And both teams have all spells available right now. Again, I think Azure definitely still feels like perhaps the stronger team in the Roshan pit, but that is very arguable.
They just get it for free. Just again, Falcons with a lack of vision, not even camping the creep. Like even Snaking could just send one in to camp the Roche. Scan is there, just a little bit too late. And now you've got the secondary life and the cheese ready to go here on Azure. You've got some big tools coming up here. I love this pickup from Sin Q going into the Ags for the little friends on Ench. That root duration is a stupid amount. It's 0.5 per unit, but that counts every unit that gets affected by little friends, which is literally all creeps. So you have the Chen army around, you have 10 units, it's a 5-second root on a 20-second cooldown with added attack speed. Chances are you can get more. Like, I've seen this root last for 6-7 seconds in some games. It's a dumb amount of control onto one.
Well, who do you target with that, though? Like, who do you want to root with that ability, do you reckon? Like, is it just straight up, like, Skidder jumps in, we're going to root him up, or...? I mean...
It's probably Skidder. You also have Malrine as a decent target with his Blink plus his Ags.
Sure.
So any of these two mobile heroes are fairly nice. And just prevents them from trying to play the long haul.
Skidder, I believe. Popping the ulti there for a moment. Yeah, not going to react too much to that. Xian Ming almost did go down, but Sin Q just going to give him a reset. Tier 2 bottom tower, going to be targeted here by AR. Same thing could be said, though, for the side of Falcons. They are looking towards the top tier 2.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I believe they might just back off and not risk having to have a fight here against the Aegis and Cheese of Azure.
Dire's bottom tower
Like Low
has
gonna
fallen.
TP towards the mid lane now to connect with his team. And Falcons, they are indeed just retreating. At the very least, you want to maybe just wait for this Aegis to expire if you can. At least let Azure come to you, and Low, he's about to get right to them. Snaking has been spotted. Rocket players are going to connect. Nice fish to block the way though. Maori knows something is wrong, but they will lose the Ancient Creeps at the least. Snaking still being hunted. So much vision being provided by Tianming. They just see everyone. Maureen on the high ground, waiting patiently. Jumps in onto Tianming. That wasn't the target, I don't think. But Skidder, he's going to come in and finish the job. Clockwork is down. They'll reset the fight with this Torrent Storm. XXS being dragged back towards the side of Falcons is in a bit of a hard place. Oh, Maureen. He kind of slams the ground, but it won't matter. XXS is gone. Meanwhile, the Pango has jumped in, eats the cheese, but is still in huge trouble as now the Eclipse comes out from Low, but it does nothing. What a mess. Azure getting a little bit too excited. They are going to pay for it. 3 down, and all 3 are core heroes. In fact, I say 3, 4 down if you count the buyback of Tianming.
That's a wild fight for Azure to even force out. They don't manage to get the Ravage off on their Tide. They're jumping in very deep in to the side of Falcons without any real vision outside of these flares. They commit a long chase forward. It looks really awkward for Malrine in that fight. You know, his positioning, jumping into the Clockwork, not the ideal target. But they split up that fight again. Like it's the same conditions where we find Falcons win out. They drag all of these heroes of Azure all across, chasing individual targets, and they're just not able to focus on one. While they're jumping in, you saw Low wasn't willing to jump in. He was sitting on the back line because he popped his Moonglaives a little bit early. When he does jump in, his Tide is dead. XM can't help. It's just disconnected in that movement from Azure, and it was Azure getting that chase out.
Get up, trying to go after Tianming. XXS around the corner, and well, he just jumps right back out anyway. In fact, Tianming still just kind of almost going down, but looks like he will make. Falcons, though, they have infiltrated that Radiant Triangle. ATF seeing if he can be a little bit cheeky here with an X, but will not find himself a target. The rest of Falcons are around to back him up in the mid lane. Azure, I'm not really sure if they want this fight, but they do at least still have the Ravage to play with. In fact, they even have the Rolling Thunder. Perhaps you do want to fight. The Echo is down. Shadow Step is down. Hand of God is down. So Falcons, they do have a few less spells to play with at the moment. So Falcons not really going to give the opening anyway for Azure to try and jump in.
Just play it patient, play across on this bot jungle area, get that build up. It is a little bit hard to be sneaky with Tianming having that Ags, like these rocket flares as we've seen before. Does provide a lot of vision. Falcons, last time around, they baited him into that vision. Azure, looks like they've learned their lesson. They're going to hold back.
ThinkQ didn't. Yeah, ThinkQ.
All right.
You'll learn the hard way.
You know, you got to do it at least once, I guess. Sit forward. That is more than likely the tier 2 just set to fall. Although Fortify will stall it for a little bit longer. But you're at the point now where Falcons can just keep camping around his bot jungle and prevent the build-up. The side of Azure, though, Low has managed to sneak across. He's shoving in top. There is a siege creep with this massive creep wave, so response is being forced out. Skitter has the Shadow Step to kind of join in a few seconds anyway. But this is the exact move Azure needs. Just find farm where you can. Satanic, not going to take too long to finish up on Low. That's when the durability really kicks in with those glaives, with all of the lifesteal coming out. But this time around, we've got to see Azure connect. And we need to see a lined-up Ravage with a really well-timed Rolling Thunder from XM in an ideal position. This could also be, down the line, a really good game for Low to consider the Ags build-up on Luna. It's probably not the early priority, but an Ags Blessing would be massive as they find ThinkQ again.
I mean, he does have his team around him. ThinkQ, he could actually set up for his team. In fact, Rolling Thunder does come out. XXS also jumping in on Snaking. They'll pop the Hand of God for now. Torrent Storm also committed. Crits the target. Tianming, though, is the one that goes down. And Maureen unable to finish the job quite yet. But Tianming, still being chased, does go down. Azure lose to it now. Maureen right onto 2, has found low, but needs to back off as the backup is not there. XM has kind of been left behind though, and that'll be the third to go down for Azure.
That's their opening. They've got the army ready. There is still Ravage ready to go on XXS, so there is that tool left to hold on to. But, oh no.
Skidder. Skidder took game 1 personally, John, because game 2 he has been fantastic.
That he has. Even Snaking giving the tip out to low, trying to reach for it to farm, but that ward, that vision, that's just not being taken care of from the side of Azure. And now it's their turn to mount these objectives. And Snaking with a creep army doesn't take too long. Fortify already forced out. You've got Ravage, you've got Respawn in 10 and 20. Without that Luna, damage just, it's not there.
Instinct Q just cannot get away from the side of Falcon. In fact, ATF even dragging back XXS there for a moment, but XXS will be alright. They don't even want to waste their time with the Tide. This bottom racks is what they really wanted and they'll take it. Falcons onto the mid racks. Onto the mid tier 3 tower that is low, not looking to buy back. Looks like he's going to hold out. They do still hold on to the tier 2 top tower, so you've got kind of that to rely on as they can't get the megas up yet. You could think about tier 4 towers, but I highly doubt Falcons want to risk it.
No. Not in a game like this, not when so much is on the line. Amar's still hanging around here though, just being annoying. X back TP to reset. And we'll just play tag a bit as they will go for that tier 2. Roshan only a minute away, so they won't need to try to kind of force this with Respawn coming out in low. And could opt instead for the safer play of just camping Roche. They've got control. They will smoke up. Maybe try to catch someone off guard, but the Azure, it's at this point in the game you're just kind of stuck in your high ground. Your high ground defense is theoretically there. You've got Ravage, you've got the Rolling Thunder, you've got this Luna. The damage just, it has felt extremely underwhelming. You know, I heard our panel say that Luna and Tide is just like Tide TA. I'm not getting everything here, though,
Don't you dare throw the panel under the bus. That was Winter.
Oh,
You throw Winter.
Thank you for clarifying. Of course.
We'll have a chat with Winter after this game. Maybe a bit of a performance review. Top lane, the push is slowly coming. AR, I mean, they're prepped for this one. Low still holds on to the buyback gold, I believe. So, looking for this team fight. Falcons taking their time. Creep Wave is again slowly making its way through the top lane. You do also have the option to just go for Roche. And that may just be it. The Falcons obviously just wanting to take the much safer option. First dibs on Roshan, but Azure immediate 5-man smoke. They cannot afford to let this go the way of Falcons.
Nah. They scouted out with a flare. And they are in position. Again, if they get a good Ravage, could be big.
They see ATF, but you've got to decide, do you want Roshan, do you want ATF? It seems like they want the Conquer. ATF, that's a quick BKB from ATF! Ravage is completely whiffed. Aegis will go the way of Skidder. And it is complete chaos now for Azure. Oh, yeah, that looked like a complete bait from ATF. He knew they were coming. And they could not resist the Conquer. GG is called. What can you do?
I mean, they can't really hold at that point with no Ravage, no teamfight ready for the defense.